Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am back today with a couple of new products to share with you guys. I initially was not even planning on doing a video with these products until I tried a couple of them and they blew my mind. One of them in particular reminds me a whole lot of one of my very favorite high-end makeup products. So we are going to be testing it out together today. This is the look that we came up with. A lot of face products, a cream blush, a cream bronzer. I also have a new powder and foundation slash BB cream that we'll be trying out today. And this is the look that we will be creating. I will already tell you guys a couple of these products very much impressed me. Should be a fun one. Hope you guys are excited. Before we get into the makeup though, special welcome if you are a new visitor here. Welcome. Please consider subscribing to my channel and make sure that your notifications are turned on. With that said, let's get to it. So before we get started, I have 4 new things that Physicians Formula sent me. They sent me a new kind of foundation BB cream, have a bronzer, have a liquid blush, and also a powder that we're going to be testing out together today. I have tried all of these. This is not my first impression. But before we get into those, I do want to just add a little bit of primer. We're going to just go with some other Physicians Formula things as well that I really like. This is the Butter Glow liquid highlighter. We're going to use this as a primer today. Kind of a glowy primer. Just on the tops of my cheeks, down the center of my face. This is a dupe for the Say Glowy Super Gel. They really are almost identical. Okay, let's jump into the foundation. So they sent me their Diamond Perfector Mineral Wear BB Cream in 2 shades. They sent me the Fair to Light and the Light to Medium. I opened these up the other day and gave them a little swatch, little try. They're both quite a bit too light for me. So we're gonna go with the light to medium, and I'm going to combine it with just a tiny bit of my Wet n Wild Dewy Foundation in the shade, I forget the shade, Caramel. This one is way too dark for me, so I'm gonna use just a tiny bit of this to get this one to match. And literally, you guys, I mean like that much, just the tiniest little dot. It shouldn't affect the formula that much. Actually, let me insert a close-up for you guys right here of these 2 shades side by side, just swatched on my arm so you can kind of see how the shades look next to each other. They're both quite light. They do seem like a good neutral undertone. Let me just read you what the card before we apply these. Let me read you what it says about these. It says the Diamond Perfector BB Cream is a 10-in-1 skin perfector. This lightweight buildable coverage BB cream moisturizes and transforms skin in an instant. Soften, conceal, even out, and diffuse imperfections. Available in 6 shades. That's a pretty small shade range, 6 shades. So kind of like what I said about the Butter Glow concealer, which you guys know I love. I believe this also only came in 6 shades, so you might have to do a little bit of mixing and matching. It's probably gonna be hard for many people to find their perfect shade and undertone. But I will say, as I mentioned, I have tried this already. It's kind of a lighter coverage. I would say it's more like a light medium coverage. I actually put this on the other day. It's not the lightest coverage that I've ever used or tried. I'm trying to think of some light coverage foundations that I consider to be almost worthless on me because they just don't seem to cover enough at all. I'm thinking of the Neutrogena one that I tried several months ago. Gosh, I forgot the name of that one. Also the MAC Face and Body Luminous Foundation. That thing has almost no coverage at all, which I was pretty disappointed in. I actually still have both of those in my drawer. I should probably declutter them both because I really don't use those at all. Okay, so that was just 1 dollop on one side. I'm gonna need a little bit more. As you can see, it's not covering heavily. Like there are some things that definitely could use a little bit more coverage. I'm okay with that. I still think this has better coverage than some of those other ones that I mentioned. I would say it has like a light medium coverage. It does say that it's buildable. I haven't tried building it up yet. I generally don't like to build up my foundation very much. If I need more coverage, I usually just like to use a higher coverage product like a concealer. Having too many layers of a cream product on my skin since I'm a little bit older usually just doesn't do me any favors. Okay, so I'm just gonna apply a little bit more on the other side. This does feel very serum-like. Very creamy and serum-like, seems to soak into the skin. Not greasy in any way, just very moisturizing, I would say. Okay, and I'm just applying these both with just a brush. I think this one's just from BH Cosmetics. Old brush that I like to use with foundation. But hopefully it's giving you guys an idea of kind of what to expect coverage-wise. My skin looks a little bit more even. You can see quite a few things peeking through, but it looks better. It helped a little bit. So if you like something more light coverage, I think you probably would like this. As far as like the scent, it doesn't really have a scent at all, which I was grateful to see. I do love the scent of their Butter Glow products, but I wasn't ever a big fan of the scent of their Healthy Foundation. And this one doesn't seem to have a scent much at all. I'm not really smelling anything. So probably for most people, that's a good thing. Okay, so there we have one just kind of light layer. The nice thing is I don't even feel like I really need to like blend out any edges because the coverage is a little bit lighter. Feels really nice on the skin, not too tacky, but has a subtle moisturizing finish to it. Once it sets down a little bit, I think that will kind of go away, and we are going to use a powder as well. But before we grab the powder, let's put a little bit of concealer on. I'm going to jump back over to my Butter Glow concealer. I haven't been using this for a couple of months because I've been trying out a few other ones, and I pulled it back out the other day. There's a good reason why I raved about this all during 2023. It is such a great concealer. I absolutely love it. It has such fantastic coverage. So this shade that I'm starting with is Fair to Light. Very, very light. I'm going to use it kind of to highlight in the center of my face and as an eyelid primer. But it has a really nice, for being so light, it has a nice, very slightly yellow undertone, which works fantastic for my skin tone. And then I'm going to take the shade Medium to Tan. And that one we're going to use on some of these spots around the perimeter of my face. We were out in southern Utah in the sun all weekend watching baseball. My son plays college baseball and it was opening weekend. It was such glorious weather. It was, I think on Sunday, it was 64 degrees, sunny, not a cloud or a breeze in the sky. It was just, oh, it was dreamy. It made me so excited for spring to officially be here, which I know we're still a ways out from. Usually what happens in Utah, we'll get a little tease of spring, like really good weather sometime in February or the beginning of March, and then it will get really cold. Sometimes it will even snow again, and windy and awful until it warms up again for the summertime. That seems to be the pattern. So it's nice to have a little taste of what I consider to be perfect weather. So I'm just gonna, now that I've kind of used both of those shades, because this one did seem just a little bit dark on me, I'm gonna take a damp sponge and just kind of blend these out, starting on the outer edges. Then we'll work our way in to the eyelids. Anyways, the reason that I mentioned that, I forgot why I was even telling you guys that little experience, is because I have a little bit more discoloration on my face. It does not take long, but one day in the sun, even with sunscreen on, and even a hat, I think I was wearing a hat all weekend, a little bit of sun, and I get these like hyperpigmentation marks that just kind of start to peek through. That's okay though. I'm kind of learning to just be okay with them. But they need a little extra coverage today if we want to hide them a little bit. Okay, let's move on to some powder. So this is their Diamond Blur Powder. It says it's a mineral wear skincare powder. Let me just read what it says. I'm not a big powder fan. I do use powder, but it's not something that I find to be like transformative in my makeup routine, but I'll tell you what they say about this. Says, set makeup in place for all day wear with this ultra fine loose cushion powder. This talc free powder instantly blurs and diffuses the look of pores. It is a very white based powder. It reminds me a little bit of the, what's it called? Oh my gosh, my mind just went blank. You know the white powder that comes in the oregano bottle? The RCMA, no color powder. It's kind of like that. It's just like a very white, but it's supposed to go on, I guess, with no color. I did try this the other day just to give it a little test. It has a little like sifter here that's like a t-shirt. It's kind of weird. Just gonna use a light amount of it. It is very, very finely milled. I mean, this stuff is like ultra fine. Doesn't give any coverage. I don't think it's shimmery. I mean, I swatched this the other day. I don't see any shimmer particles in it at all, which is good. Also gonna set just sides of my mouth, tiny bit more on these little spots I covered up, and that should be good. Okay, now let's move into the thing that got me most excited to film this video today. It is the Diamond Bronzer. So I opened this package up, and when I was looking at this in the box that it came in, it had this like, I think because the texture on the top of this product, which is gone now because I have used it, made it look a little bit shimmery, like it was like a super shimmery bronzer, and I was just thinking like, I don't want a shimmery bronzer. I really don't like overly shimmery bronzers, but it was not a shimmer. It was actually just the texture, because this is actually a cream bronzer, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now, it reminds me exactly of my Charlotte Tilbury cream bronzer. The formula of these are exactly the same. This is a very unique formula bronzer. It's kind of like a hybrid. It's a cream bronzer, but it's different than my other cream bronzers. I can't really explain it. If you've swatched this, it's not quite as emollient and kind of greasy almost. It actually gives you a little bit of coverage. I love it. It's probably my favorite cream bronzer in my collection, and this I think is a near exact dupe. I do think the shade's a little bit different. I will swatch these and show you guys how they look side by side, but I am so excited about this cream bronzer. It performs so much like my Charlotte Tilbury. So let's swatch them right now. I do think when you're swatching these, this one feels a little bit more creamy than my Charlotte Tilbury, but on the cheeks and applied with a brush, these remind me so much of each other. Here's the Physicians Formula, here's the Charlotte Tilbury. They are a little different. I think the Physicians Formula one is a little bit lighter and slightly more warm, but it's not orange on the skin. I actually think it's a beautiful color. So let's give it a try on the cheeks. Hopefully you guys will kind of see how this performs. I'm just gonna take this brush from Sydney Grace. I think this might be their foundation brush. I love it for cream bronzer. And we're gonna just start tapping that on. Seriously, you guys, this is so, so good. It just goes on so quick. I mean, that was like 3 little taps. Don't have to spend a lot of time blending. Gives you this nice, perfect amount of hydration. It just looks very natural and warms up your cheeks in such a beautiful way. Oh, I love it. And there you have it. That's it. Isn't it gorgeous? I just think this is such a beautiful bronzer formula. All right, they also had in this package the Diamond Filler Mineral Wear Cheek and Lip Color. So this is just a liquid blush. Again, this says it has mineral dust in it for a luminous glow. I don't think it's shimmery by any means. I think it just looks like a basic liquid brush. It reminds me a lot of the ones from Rare Beauty and e.l.f. that I just got done trying out. By the way, I don't think I mentioned, the bronzer comes in 2 shades. This is the lighter of the 2 shades. I have the shade Bronzed Gem. It also comes in a deeper shade. And then the liquid blush comes in 2 shades. They sent me the shade Brilliant Peach, which actually is not that peach. I think it's a nice, subtly warm pink. It's actually a really beautiful kind of, would work with a lot of different skin tones kind of shade. So that's kind of what it looks like. And apply that with my Alter Ego brush. Oh, I just realized I never linked my Alter Ego brush in my last video. I better go do that. Kind of go back and forth. See, it gives a good amount of color. Beautiful, beautiful color. Again, goes on so quick. You really do not need to spend much time getting those to blend out. Very, very happy with the formula of both of these. I think they are absolutely incredible. Okay, so now we're just gonna add a little bit of highlighter. From this point on, I don't have anything else brand new. Let's just add a little bit of my Essence highlighter. This is the shade 2 Sun Showers. Okay, and then let's just add a little bit of eyeshadow. I'm just gonna take my Retro palette from Natasha Denona. Let's just start with this shade right here, Nude Mauve. Kind of just throw that all through the crease. Just doing something really basic today. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna kind of leave it there. Actually, let's run a little bit of this, kind of what's left down below. Not even being very precise, I'm kind of being sloppy. I'm gonna take my brush to kind of clean up this line a little bit. Not brush, sponge, because I use such a large brush. And then we're going to just apply, let's apply a little bit of this kind of berry shimmer right here. This is shade Hello. Beautiful kind of taupey berry, just to the center of the lid. And then we're gonna throw, let's take this center shade right here, Psychedelic, on the inner part of the lid. I love this color. It has so much sparkle in it. It's beautiful. To kind of add on top of that sparkle on the inner part of the lid, we're gonna add some of this white matte right here. This is shade Maud, just to the inner corner, kind of the inner tear duct. Let's use this tiny little brush from Rephr. This is the 23, just a little pinpoint brush. You could use like a tiny concealer brush as well. And just kind of pop that just right on that inner corner. Okay, now I'm just throwing on a little bit of my Wet n Wild liner. Then I'm gonna throw a couple coats of the Physicians Formula Diamond Wear mascara. I've had this for a while. I like it more now that it's sat for about a month. It works a little bit better now that the formula's not quite as wet. I'm gonna throw this on, then I'll be right back. We'll finish off with the lips and I'll share with you guys a couple of final thoughts. Okay, now the eyes are finished. Let's add something to my lips today. I was thinking about going back to that lip liner that I picked up from Amazon, but I have it up in my purse upstairs. So let's just use something I have right here. You know what I haven't used for a while? Why don't we go with my Natasha Denona I Need a Rose lip liner in the shade Calla? It's been a bit neglected by me lately, and I really love this lip liner. I think you can get more affordable lip liners, long wearing lip liners. This one is very, very long wearing. I kind of feel like since I discovered my About Face lip liners, this one's kind of gotten pushed to the side, but I still really like it. Now let's just throw a little bit of gloss in the center. I'm just gonna take a little bit of my Persona Pink gloss. And that's gonna do it, you guys. This is the finished makeup look. Very excited about some of these products. I have a feeling that you guys will probably be seeing this in a favorites video in a couple of days. I fell in love with it that quickly. Usually I give myself a little bit more time, but once in a while a product comes around that the first time I use it, I just know like there's something special about it. As far as how it wears, I haven't done like a side-by-side wear test with the Charlotte Tilbury. This one is pretty long wearing. I should probably do that. I can't really comment on that right now. I'll keep an eye on that. Maybe I'll do a wear test off camera and let you guys know how they wear next to each other, or give you guys an update in that favorites video that will be coming up in a few days. As for everything else, I'm very excited about the liquid blush. There's a ton of product in here. It has 0.24 ounces, so even more than, I think the Rare Beauty ones had 0.23. Actually, no, they have 0.25. So, I mean, it's a lot of packaging. I feel like it looks like there's a lot more in there than there probably actually is. This is a pretty big package. It's almost as big as the foundation for a lot less product. This has 1.12 ounces in it, which I thought was pretty impressive. Actually, it's 1.2 ounces, which is a pretty good amount. But again, you might have to use a little bit more because it's a lighter coverage. I will keep playing with this. I don't know, I don't dislike it, but it has less coverage than what I typically reach for, and the shade is not exactly right for me. So I might pick up the third shade of this and try it on its own so I can comment a little bit better. But it definitely wasn't bad. It gave me good, solid, light medium coverage, I would say. And then the powder, I like. It's just a powder to me, as most powders are, but if you like this type of a powder, I don't know, I thought it was pretty good. But that is gonna do it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below if you have tried out any of these products. What did you think of them? Did they work for you? I always love hearing your feedback. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you're all doing well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. By the way, I probably should have mentioned, as far as the amount of product, this has 0.2 ounces, this has 0.74. So way less product in here than the Charlotte Tilbury. This thing has a ton of product. I mean, more than almost anything in my collection, but it does make the price on this one not as affordable, gram for gram, ounce for ounce.